Good morning guys, and welcome to iPS Smart. Today we'd like to do another tutorial since we've done quite a few extra features, and I'm going to start with being inside of the actual iPunt Smart website and just show you on the right hand side here you can open it in iPunt Smart as an app, and that makes a bigger screen and all the nice features with it. So let's just start with that. That is how you will be able to show iPunt on your full screen like that. So what we have here is at the top section we have the dashboard. If you just click on the iPunt Smart button, you've got the dashboard here with all the sports coming up. Currently we have 24 sports as well as horse racing. Here you can change your date, or you can move it into a next 3-day kind of outlook. And in here you'll see all the different 435 basketball games, 316 football games, etc. 44 greenies in basketball. Table tennis, we've got 15 greenies, 774 matches, etc. And at the bottom here, our USA sports, NFL, MLB, MLS, NHL, and the college basketball, football. So we've got all the American sports here as well. Easy for you to find there. Just click on those links at the top here, all the sports, all the horse racing. In the new year we'll be looking to add UK as well as USA, as well as Australia and Hong Kong and Singapore and Zimbabwe into 2022 for horse racing. So when you look at horse racing, then you'll see all the different horse racing events popping up here into the future, as well as those in the past. So you can hone your skills on the past and see what happened in the past as well. But we'll do a separate tutorial video on the horse racing. So I am moving back to sport, and at the sport at the top you have MVP, most valuable picks by our users. So on the MVP you'll see every day the users that has their one best for the day. At the bottom here we have greenies. Those are automated bets for you that's been selected by our algorithms, 37 of them in total for today. Then the picks are the automated selections that also has odds for them, that we found odds for them already. And then the value picks as well, there's nothing of those at the moment. The value picks is the ones that has an above 60% probability to win, but has odds of above 120%, which is quite nice. Then the editors picks, the editors does daily picks for you as well, and you'll find that editors pick button here, that is selected as an editor's pick. You'll find it as a little star. I'll show you how that works just now. And there's 23 of those. Then you can scroll this bar across: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, rugby, football, Aussie rules, rugby league, field hockey, netball, water polo, volleyball, tennis, table tennis, esports, futsal, beach soccer, bandy, badminton, beach volleyball, and poca polo, and well, 26 of them in total. Let's just start off by showing you the here you can see the finished ones already. I don't know how we did today, so could be a surprise, it could not be a surprise. So we can see table tennis, there was 4 selections and there was 4 winners, and that was an exact score 3-2, and that was an exact score 3-1. So that was pretty neat. In every one of these sports you'll find the exact same view. Now if I open up any of these, you'll see the view here. The bottom here is 24 months, so that's what that M stands for: 24 months, 23 months, 22 months, 21 months, 20 months, 19 months, 18, etc. And if you click on it, you'll also find that the graph will change. If I click to the only a 1 month graph, of course there'll only be the last months, and in table tennis there's a lot of games. So in the last month the home team has played 43 games and the away team has played 78 games. So there is a lot of table tennis going on all the time. So let's move to the sports section, and I'm just going to choose a sport that's maybe not so busy to start off with as we see in table tennis, because quite simply, like on the 24 months here, 192 games home team has played and 115 the away teams played. So it gets a bit busier because each of these dots, if you hover over them, has all the details of that. So if you've got 192 games, you've got 192 dots for the home team and for the away team. 115 games means 15 dots. You can also take the dots away simply by taking all the home dots away or all the away dots away, and you can also take the different curves for all our different formulas and algorithms away, or switch them on and off as you please. So if I only want to look at the head-to-head form between these two guys, it looks quite weird, because home wins, away wins, away wins, home, home, away, home, 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 away, home, away, home, away, away, and so forth. But if I add that with my actual curve, you'll see that the curve is slightly moving towards the home player, which is nice. And also the head-to-head momentum started off here on a 0.064, which is the blue lines is head-to-head. So it started here as 0.064, and that's what that 0.064 means. And it finished here on the 0.9278, and that's what that 0.93 means. So the head-to-head start is the play button for start, started at 0.06, so a very slight away. All the numbers that you see is dependent on the sport. So if it's table tennis, then it's sets. If it's football, then it's goals. If it's rugby, then it's points. If it's basketball, it's points. If it's volleyball, it's sets, etc. and so on. So in this case, this is table tennis, Men's Liga Pro Russia, and in this case the home team started with a slight advantage, 0.96, and that is because he won his first game on the 26th of April 2021, 3-2, and then that started moving up and down, but eventually the whole momentum on the head-to-head side has gained into a one-set advantage, or a 0.927895 set advantage, and that's exactly what we saw here, 3-2. Now you'll also see, when you look at that, at the top there's a whole lot of information. So that agrees, the 0.93 agrees with the overall 24-month advantage. Now what I mean with it, overall 24 months, is that the advantage is in those lots of games, 177 for the home team, 57 draws, and 73 for the away team. In there you'll see a 0.93 advantage in sets for the home team. Sorry, I made a mistake there, but that that 177, 57, 73 is not quite the advantage of the home versus the away team. It's actually looking at where home and away played against the exact same opposition, the exact same person in this case, that home and away played to the same guy, what we call relative strength, where say both Man United and Arsenal plays against Chelsea. Then in this case the home player had a better score in 177, or had a better win or a better loss, just a better outcome compared to the same opposition. 177 times we had a better outcome, 57 times we had the exact same outcome, and 73 times the away opposition had a better outcome, which means green is always home, red is always away. So you'll see green all the way is home always, and red all the way is away. So the same in the graphs here. So in this specific case you'll see a whole lot of green, and when that means a whole lot of green, it means that the chances is that the home team will probably win. In the bottom here you'll see there's an away win, and therefore if you open that up you'll see a whole lot of red, and that means away, all away, and all the percentages and all the rest is in there. But that is why you'll see clearly there that this is red. So even for the guy that knows absolutely nothing about statistical methods or algorithms or anything else, just look out for the colors. If you see a lot of green, it's home. If you see a lot of red, it's away. So there you can see a lot of red, and yeah, this is a home game, you'll see a lot of green. So just going back to the head-to-head is always in blue, the home is always in green, and the away is always in red. So We start off at the top here with the summary bar, if I can call it that, for each game. There's a summary bar, and the summary bar is very easy to read because you get 20 of them into one page for any specific sport. So if you look at a sport like table tennis, for instance, you'll see we find there is a lot of table tennis today, 708 matches for the day, and therefore there's 36 pages of it because there's 20 fitting in each page. And as you move on down here, you'll see 20 of them was fitted in here. Now just looking at the summary bar in totality, just always note that some of the features are not all showed on a mobile device, simply because there's not enough space on a mobile device, and the JavaScript internal calculation actually decides how much of it gets displayed on your screen, depending on how big your screen is, the resolution and everything else. Since the more it can fit on there for you to still be user friendly to you, the better. So some of the features will be switched off when you actually view it from a mobile device, but if you watch it on something like an Apple iPad or just a normal laptop, then all the features will be shown, displayed. So 20 of these together, and you'll see on the there's an info button here that gives you a ratings explained, that gives you also information about the actual sport in question, but the latest tutorial for all the sports will always be up top here. So that's the easiest, to just press the play button and watch the tutorials there that we put through for you there. So in this table tennis, you'll see there's 2 leagues at the moment for today. There's 6 different tournaments. There's 708 of them altogether, and as I said, 36 pages of it. There are 14 greenies and there are 5 picks. Now you also see the greenies and the pick, doesn't matter how on anywhere you are, those picks, you'll see that's that bar on the side here where that was a pick. That was also correct, 3-2, and an exact score, 3-2. And if you move down, let's just go to another page and see if we can find a greenie for you to show you what that bar would look like. That pick bar would be an orange bar on the side. If we can find a greenie bar, well, I'll just click on the greenies, and then that will give me all the greenies on the greenie bar for today. So you'll see there's all your greenies for today, and there's actually one currently busy being played. But Belsky versus Maxiuta, and good idea to jump in now because Belsky is behind, and he shouldn't be behind. Although there's no data from 7 months to 1 month, he does have a very strong chance to win. So wouldn't be a bad idea to actually jump on board and play him now. 2.79 to 1.34. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins 3-1. Or even a 3-2 win would be as good, but you can see what all these greenies is on the side. And as I mentioned to you earlier, the editor's picks, these are the editor's picks with the little star in them. You sometimes also find editor's handicap picks, and those are the picks that you have to take in mind with the handicap. So if I just change that, you'll see the difference between an editor's pick and a editor's handicap pick is quite simply just a H inside of the actual star. So let's go and just take you through what the details are of these specific ones. In this example here, Men's Liga Pro, you'll see Gurov is playing Domchenko, and we've predicted that Gurov will be winning. You'll see if there's odds available. The odds are in here, and on the side here you'll see 15 indicators. In this one the count is 13 to 2. Now what we mean with the 15 indicators is every single one of these, that 1 year RSI, the head-to-head minus the RSI end figure, the head-to-head minus the RSI net figure, the head-to-head start figure, the head-to-head end figure, the head-to-head net balance figure, the RSI start figure, the RSI end figure, and the RSI net figure. And then also these overall win, draw, loss figures, etc. All of them together makes for 15 indicators, and in this case home won 13 out of the 15 indicators. So that is pretty neat, and maybe I should just do it for you on this TT Cup so we can follow this score. Our new live in play feature updates the score within 2 seconds of the score being updated. So what that means is our live in play dashboard at the top here is very cool, because you get a whole lot of opportunity there where the score is not the same as what we have predicted, and therefore the odds triples or sometimes even eightfold or even more. And because of that, you then all of a sudden end up with a lot better opportunity due to the fact that the score, you're behind your player that's supposed to win, and on the ratings looks like he most definitely will win, is behind at the time, and that makes it really nice. So okay, how are we going to start that? Let's start by just show you what we mean with all these indicators. I'm going to start with the 8 month, which was the most recent one in this case. Take out that momentum extension just so to show you clearly. You can see here that the home, there's the 0 button, which means it's a draw, and clearly in this instance, if we look at the 8 months, the RSI shows a 3.17 advantage in sets for home, and that's why it's in green. It also shows an 80% chance for home to win, 0% chance for a draw, because in table tennis you can't draw, and in 20% chance for the away player to win. Furthermore, you'll see that the home has played during this the most recent 8 months period. Home's played 3 times versus the exact same opposition as away, and away's played twice, so one of them he played 2 times, and in that example home won 2 out of the 3 and away lost both that he played. The average score was 3.4 sets to 0.29 sets. The average home score was 2.33 sets. The average away conceded, this is home achieved 2.33 sets, this is away conceded 1.67 sets, and the away average was, he only got 0.55 sets on average, and since he lost all his games, the away team got on average 3. If you hover over the bottom here, you also see little numbers, number 1 for instance, and if you look at number 1, that was Moloka A. Both players lost, and that's what that little L is for. And you'll see both of these guys played that same opposition. The one played him on the 27th of May, the other one played him 2 weeks earlier on the 13th of May, and they both lost 3-1. So in this example, for the bottom indicator here, that's a draw, because what this bottom indicator, that's a new indicator of ours, means it's the RSI balance indicator, and what that means is both of the opposition played both home and away played the exact same opposition, and in this instance that 3-2-0 means home did better than away in 3 of the 5, and they both did the exact same in 2 out of the 5, and away did not do better in any of those 5. So that's what that means, and that then below that it's also reflected as a percentage. So home gets a 60%, and that's why the 60% is in green, because it's for home, and that's the highest one that's been reflected there. And then the draw was 2 or 40%, and away was 0%. So if you look at this one, you click on that and you'll see that the graph gets more busy, because now we have a 69.77% chance for home. 23 games played, 18 was won by home and he lost 5, and away played 63, where 21 of them was won and 42 of them was lost. The average was 3.02 versus 1.12 in total, which is why we also get to that 3-1 score there, and that's confirmed by the overall calculations, which is a weighted calculation across the weighting of those 24 months. The weighting simply means that most recent has a stronger, higher weight than the ones of 2 years ago, because quite simply put, obviously what he's done most recently is more important than what he did 2 years ago as far as form is concerned. So at the top here you'll see in the history of the 2 years, home has won 2 out of 2, and that if there's a home and away advantage, that's why we show that home. In table tennis there isn't a home and away advantage, but when home did play at the home venue, he also won 3-0. So again, why we say that Belsky should be coming back to win this. Now when we look at the data, every single time frame that we're clicking on only selects the data where the home and the away player has the exact same opposition within the exact same time frame. So that would mean that in the 8-month time frame, home had these 3 games and away had the 2 games where the same opposition. So they played, you'll see that away played Molokar once and lost 3-2. Home played Molokar twice, and in the one he won 3-1, and in the other one he lost 3-1. And on the other side here, you'll see Yunchik away lost 3-0 to Yunchik, but home won 3-1 to Yunchik. And that was the most recent side, being on the right hand side here, and you'll see the dates at the bottom here. Why it's showing the 7:06:21 is because there wasn't any data since, so they both took quite a bit of a break, and is back again. Just to show you an example of when that break is not there, you'll see there's data right down to the most recent 1-month data. So that does leave for a bit of a question mark when there's data that hasn't been done for a couple of months, and that's part of your decision to then decide whether you want to stick away to the ones that doesn't have most recent data, or if you're happy to look at the momentum to stay the same over that period as it has been moving over that period. You'll also see in this bar here that there's this wave, and that's the head-to-head blue wave that's very stable. You'll see it popping up and booming up to the top, which is the home side. Anything above 0 is the home, and anything below 0 in minus is for away. So when it goes to the top, it's head-to-head going to the home side, and that's very nicely reflected here on this positive 3.23 end. Started on a positive only 0.37 sets, and it finished after 2 years to a positive 3.23 sets, and the net of that was a net gain of 2.87 sets for home. On the RSI side, let's explain this RSI side just in a very nice detail to you. The figures that you see here from the head-to-head as well as from the RSI side is the full total figure over the 24-month period. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to explain to you how we get that 0.89 sets advantage. And to do that, I have to go to the 24 months, and I will show you the RSI start and finish portions of both the home and away, so you can understand how we got to those calculations. So let's just put that back on, that curve away. Okay, so I want to show you how we get to these values. So you'll see home started on a 1.09807, and away started on a 0.21. Now the difference between that 1.098 and that 0.21 is a positive difference, therefore home team, therefore this shows in green, of 0.89 sets. Now to put that into perspective, of the 7,748 games that we have analyzed so far in this specific tournament, this tournament being the TT Cup. See, there's 7,748 games in the TT Cup analyzed, of which we had 58.67 or 67% overall correct. And in this example, you'll see that each indicator had a specific part to play in our way of finding the winner. and you'll see the most important one was the RSI finished or end button, which 56.25% of the time was the correct one. 56.25% of the time was the correct one here, and this is a very strong indicator because it's a 2.52 advantage. So always look at these indicators in any tournament because they're tournament specific and they give you the edge on finding the right one by showing you the probability of each one of these indicators to have the strongest or highest influence. And that's very important to remember. So when I'm looking at this now and I'm not 100% sure of a game, I am always looking at, okay, which indicator was the strongest one for me, and in this case 2.52 was a very nice advantage on the RSI end figure, and that one was the strongest, 57%, and some instances you get it up to 80%, especially on the most recent ones. So getting back to this example here, that 0.89, you know now where it comes from. It's simply that minus that, the home start minus the away starts value has a difference of a advantage of 0.89 sets. On the same thing can be said on the end side. So on the end side we had a nice little climb for home. He started down here at 1.09 and he finished up here at 1.64. So he moved nicely in the right direction. We can't say the same for away though, because away started on a 0.21 positive and away dropped to a 0.09 positive, and the difference between that 0.09 and that 1.64 is the positive 1.55 end figure, which essentially means that in this time, in the last 2 years, home was 0.89 sets better than away, but on the most recent RSI end figure, the relative strength index end figure, which has now been taken over all these 152 games for home and 171 games for away, home has actually improved further to go into a 1.55 set advantage. And that's why we then get to the RSI net figure, which is the difference between the RSI start and the RSI end, which is an advantage of 0.66 to home. So not only did home start better, home also finished better, and therefore his net advantage has grown into a better value. So that's what that means to you. The same can be said on the head-to-head side. If I just take those two off and I put the head-to-head button on, just take the I'll just take all of these home stuff out. So now let's just look at the head-to-head. So here's all the different head-to-head games as we go along. You can hover over them and see the details and the dates of each one of them, and you can see it started off here on a 0.21 for advantage at the beginning, and it finished up here, started here on a 0.37 advantage. Let me just take that one out, picture. So only the head-to-head is all the blue stuff. Started on a 0.365 or 0.37 advantage. That's where you get that 0.37 from. And we finished up here. Let me just take that head-to-head off, and you see where that finished on a 3.23 advantage. So that's a really nice jump gain, 0.37 to 3.23, and the net advantage therefore was 2.87. So in this instance, again, on the relative strength, where both of these guys played the exact same opposition, home was better, home started better, home finished better 2 years later, and therefore home's net was better. And the same head-to-head against each other, home head-to-head was better, home head-to-head was much better, 3.23 sets better, and therefore home head-to-head has finished at 2.87 sets better than where it started back here 24 months ago. So back here 24 months ago was the latest back we go, 0.37, and here's the most recent one. If I just put the head-to-head back on again, we can see that was on the 2nd of December, just a couple of weeks ago, where he actually thrashed him 3-0. So important to note that that's how all of this puts together. And I hope you understand that now. To just put that little into perspective again, and I'll show it by means of the smallest value on the 1 month indicator. You'll see the 1 month indicator shows at home played 6 of the same opposition that away played, and away played 9. It's exact same opposition. So you'll see there's a numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if you hover over each one of them, it'll give you the details. There's the very latest one, home 1-3-1, and away played the same opposition, Chibulin, 3 times, of which he lost 3-2. He also won 3-1, and he also won 3-0. So you'll see that one number there corresponds to a few ones, because there was 3 of them, and there's a 1 there, and there's a 1 there, and there's another 1 there. So you'll see that same data across. And then if we go to number 2, you'll see that's Yunchuk, and home beat Yunchuk 3-2, where away played Yunchuk 4 times and lost 3 out of the 4, lost 3-0, lost 3-1, lost 3-0, and once on the 2nd of December 1-2-3 or 3-2 in that expense. On the third, number 3, both played Mr. Ruban M. Home won 3-2 and away lost 3-2 and lost 3-1. On the that number 2 we already covered. So in this example, on the 1 month example, we only have a number 1, a number 2, and a number 3. And what that would mean to us is we only had 3 unique relative strength opposition where both teams played the exact same guy within that 1 month. If we take this 1 month to 2 months, then you'll see that there's also only 3 that they had the exact same opposition. And if we move that over to 3 months, now it gets a little bit busier, obviously. So I'm just going to take out some of these again to make it easier for you. And you can see there's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. So there's been 7 unique opposition in that 3 month period. And in that 3 month period, home played 17 games. He won 16 and he lost 1. Away played 112 matches against the same 7 opposition, and he won 60 and he lost 52. So clearly on that example, home has a stronger 16 out of 17, where away has 60 out of 112. Average score 2.86 versus 1.1. Home's average score was a 3.1 or 2.94 to 0.94, and away's average, he just snuck in better, 2.13 sets to 1.89 sets. So all of that considered, we have on the 3 month RSI an advantage of 1.76 for the home in sets, and the advantage is also for the percentages, 52.71 versus 47.29. So still home going strong, and that's why we then see that 52.71% also here, 52.71%. Now if I'm looking at the exact same comparison, the exact same relative strength index, but in a different way, not in the sense of a win, draw, loss, which we just saw here. This is the win, draw, loss, where he played 17, he won 16 and he lost 1, but rather in the who did better than the other. In other words, if the one guy won 3-0, if the home guy won 3-0 and the away guy won 3-2, then the home guy would still get a point for being better. Even though they both won, the home guy won better, because the home guy won 3-0 and the away guy only won 3-2. And in that example, in that same example, you'll find that over the course of all of these matches, 17 for the home and 112 for the away, over the course of all that matches, 79 of these dots, when we relate them to each other versus the relative strength, in other words, that home versus each and every one of these away individually, then home did better 79 times, away did better 24 times, and it was a draw where, for instance, both of them won 3-2, or both of them won 3-1, or both of them lost 3-1. The same applied for 26 of them. So that brings us the percentages a bit better, a bit stronger, to say, okay, well, on the just RSI depending on win, draw and loss, you've got a 52.71% chance that home will win. But if you actually also then compare how well home won or how badly away lost versus the exact same opposition in each one of those occasions within the exact same time frame, then that percentage actually pops up to a 61% chance. So that's way better than a 52% chance. So that also shows you that in all possibility the home will probably win this game 11:50, Melnik versus Zemyantsev, later on today. What else can I show you here? So at the top here you'll see the history. 10 times they've played each other. Now how do we get to that history? It's quite easy. In the 24 months, the history is the head-to-head when both of these guys played each other. So you'll see there's 10 dots on the head-to-head side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in those 10 dots, home won 7, which is all the ones above the 0 line, and away won 3, which is that 1, 2, 3 of them at below the 0 line. The average score was 2.6 versus 1.2. That's clear and easy enough to understand. You also have, or we have the option to, we're always looking for to get all the odds in time for you. So when you look at this, you'll see the odds pop up here. Like in this example at the top here, you'll see there's the odds here was a 3.5 for home. That's the 3.5 here, and a 28% chance for away, and that's the 28% chance that you see here. So essentially that is the extent of every single sport, all 25 sports. The exact same applies. It doesn't matter which sport you're looking at, just always remember you're looking at the values in terms of how they score. So when you look at table tennis, it's sets. When you look at rugby union, it's points. When you look at football, it's goals. When you look at hockey, it's pucks. But also goals and pucks is the same. But the expression that we give here is identical to the actual way that this team is scoring against each other. Okay, so we've showed you now everything that there is to know as far as these indicators are shown. Now what I'd like to show you is the actual filters. So remember earlier we spoke about having 15 MIC categories, and that's each one of these MIC categories. If I look at this filter here, you'll find all 15 of these MIC categories also here, and you can filter on any one of these MIC categories to give you a combined filter on anything and everything you're looking for. So say for instance that BT2S is both teams to score percentage, and that applies in football only, so I'll keep that one side. So at the top here you'll see good, fair and caution data. Now what that means is there is another bar here just next to the greenie or IPS picks bar. The green says good data, the red says bad data, caution, not caution data, and the orange says fair data. So that's what that applies to: the good, the fair and the caution. Overall win, draw, loss percentage you change to whatever you want. Simply put, this overall draw loss percentage must be above whatever you state. So in this case 61.16%. if you put it to 61%, then it'll include this one because this is above the 61%. The head-to-head start figure filter and end figure filter and net figure filter, those values that we're applying here is this: head-to-head start figure, head-to-head end figure and head-to-head net figure. The RSI start figure, net figure, end figure and net figure, the exact same applies. That is what we have here: this RSI start, RSI end and RSI net figure. And then the ones that I hasn't spoken to you earlier about is the actual these head-to-head RSI end and head-to-head RSI net figures and head-to-head RSI start figures. Quite simply put, they are just the difference between these two. So as an average, if I take the head-to-head end figure of 2.28 and the RSI end figure of 1.53 and I add them together and I divide them by 2 to get my average, then my average is an average 1.91 advantage for the home team. The net figure here, quite simply put, is the head-to-head minus the RSI as a net figure. You see a minus 0.1, so over the 2 years, head-to-head got slightly closer. He started at 2.38 sets and he finished at 2.28 sets. So he got 0.1 set closer. Here he started at minus 0.57, he finished at 1.53. So home got further away, 2.09 against all the various oppositions. And the difference, the average between these minus 0.1 and a positive 2.09 is a average of a positive 1, which is the head-to-head minus the RSI net figure. And that is these other indicators you see at the bottom here as filters: the head-to-head RSI start figure, head-to-head RSI end figure, and head-to-head RSI net figure. MIC points and MIC net is quite simply put these number of MIC, like 13.2 out of the 15.13. So if I do a filter here on my MIC points and I say, okay, I only want 13, then it'll only pop up with all the ones in my filter that's above 13. The MIC net figure is simply who's the strongest difference. So 13.2 is a strong advantage of 11. So when I go MIC net of 11 or stronger, then that will apply. RSI months, RSI value, that's the sets value, and the RSI win-draw loss percentage is very easy. These are the ones at the bottom of your filter, at the bottom here, the RSI, the net figures here, and the percentages, and for each month. So if I'm going RSI 1 month, then there's my 1 month RSI. If I go 2 months, then there's my 2 month RSI. 3 months, then I go 3 months RSI. And then the percentages underneath that, the 61%, and the value, the 1 or the 1.05. And that's simply what those filters are. As far as if I'm only looking at a RSI 1 month figure, and I'm looking at any value above a, call it a 1.1 set, and any percentage where I have at least a 60% chance to win, then, and I take all of these out of the equation, remember, because they all together form part of the filter in the calculation. So all I'm looking for now is where my overall win-draw loss percentage is 41% or higher, and where my 1 month RSI on the graph, so the 1 month graph, is higher than 1.1, and the win-draw loss percentage is higher than 60%. So overall it has only a 41% chance of winning over the last 2 years, 41 or better, but in the last month he had a 60% or better chance to win, and he had a 1.1 sets or better advantage to win. So that's what that apply. And then if you apply that, then it'll simply take that 708 games and it'll go apply your filter and show you how many games you got left for the day. Now you'll see it's still got 6 pages of it, so there's still 120 of it. So let's make this filter a bit more exclusive. I'm going to say, no, bugger that. I actually want at least a 1.6 goal advantage over the last month, or sets advantage over the last month, and I want an at least 63% winning chance over the last month. Now my filter goes smaller, and that's how we actually get to the filters and the algorithms of the greenies as well. Now we only have 2 pages of it, so we've already been filtering out now quite a bit of data, and I'm going to filter out a little bit more just so we can just maybe get to one page. And then I want to show you what the power is of that, to have that as a filter, save it as a filter, and you can zone in on your accuracy by looking at the last 3 days data. And then after you've done that, you can save that filter to use that filter going forward as your filter that you use. And you can save multiple of these filters. To show you how to save these filters, let me just do that for you in the meantime. Now I'm saying for the 1 month RSI, I want a 1.6 set advantage, and I want a 66% or better. I think I'm actually going to move this up to say about, let's call it at least a 50% also in the overall section. And to save this now, you simply go and you save it. So create a new filter here. You say Sean's new one and save. Okay, on my list here you'll see I've got quite a few, and there's the ones that I use a lot. First class, hot, strong indicators, net figures, big value indicators, because you can also look for big value, because I haven't told you that yet, but you can also only use the ones where you'll have odds, and you can set your odds to a specific set. And at the bottom here you can also activate your points, where you can say for like rugby, home points or away points or total points, over and under for specific one, a specific amount and a specific threshold. So if you're only looking for where the one rugby team is, say let's call it 5 better, well this is in sets now, so that's why it doesn't go that far, because it's only 5 sets maximum. But yeah, the threshold is actually the additional safety net that you build in for yourself, that says, okay, I want the one team to be 2 sets stronger than the other, but I also want the threshold of another set, so that would make it a 3 set stronger in totality, if you decide to use those filters as well. So those things are pretty cool, and sorry for that. And using those is quite potent, because you actually get to some very good accuracy. And here we can see the example of what happened today, and I haven't preempted this because quite frankly it's just to show you how it works. But on this page of 20, using that filter, which is now quite a strong filter, we actually had 1, 2 wrong. Pretty decent. We had 2 of them wrong. So you see I've put in the only the ones with odds here. Overall win-draw loss of 50% or better, and RSI 1 month figure must be a value of 1.6 or better, and the win-draw loss on the 1 month must be 66% or better. So we can check that. We can check that now by just seeing if all of those filters applies. And you check at the overall was more than 50%, it was 60%, and the 1 month was more than the 1.1, in this case a 1.18, and the percentage was, we also said, more than 60, and that's a 60.3% percentage in that specific example. So you see these filters above 50%, we saw 60% there. We saw 1 month was above 1.6, 1.67, and the above 60% on the RSI as well, because it was a 61.6%. So those are the pretty cool indicators that you can use, and you can then also go and test those indicators based on your past. So if I'm talking about your past, you can actually go back and say, okay, apply this only to my last 3 days, and that would mean that you just check whether that filter would be working for you over the last 3 days and not just for today. And then once you've done that, you can use that filter and say, okay, now apply that exact same filter for me to the next 3 days. In other words, go and look at that exact same scenario. I've got 18 out of 20 right. I'd love to have 18 out of 20 right. I checked that versus the past 3 days and I'm still strong. So I'm going to use that exact same filter over into the next 3 days. And that is the power, the beauty of using these filters like that. So so you can actually just check if your consistency is good enough to apply that into the future. Okay guys, I hope that has helped. If I can't think of any much further that I could actually help you with as far as what to look out for. What is it that okay, what else can I show you? Okay, let's just quickly go and show you that they all look the exact same. Like if I look at basketball now, we'll just look at table tennis, and obviously that's in sets. Now if I'm looking at basketball, you'll see much higher figures because basketball is much higher. It's points systems, and you can use those filters for all different kind of things. Like you can use your filters to check over and under in total points, or just for the home team or just for the away team, to see whether you want to take use of those handicaps on the total goals, as well as the handicaps on football, for instance, a half a goal advantage, or a full 1.5, or a 2.5, or whatever the case might be, advantage. So those things are all very cool to use. But I think before I finish running with this filter, let me just show you a little bit of the very cool new functionality that's we just launched now, and it's probably going to be our biggest seller. I don't know how many things are running now because it's 11:06, and therefore 11 o'clock we've got all the updates running at 11. So maybe I went over the time with all those updates running in the background. But be that as it may, I'd just like to show you the in-play functionality quickly. So it's loading my live in play now, and on the left hand side here, as I said earlier, we've got I think 26, 25 sports now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 24 sports now, and then horse racing. So if you're looking at live in play and it's too busy for you and it's not everything that you want, you can just simply change to only the ones that you're interested. Say if you're only interested in football and basketball and American football as an example, then whatever's on a Saturday when there's 1,000 live things happening at the same time, you can just zone in on those 1,000 live things, while you don't lose on too many, because there's just so much happening. There's over 3,000 sports events happening at the same time on a Saturday. And that does make things quite complicated. And I actually wanted to show you another thing on how to actually then get past that. If you're working on your sport, you can, on top of the actual date, you can also choose the actual time. So that, say you start at 12 o'clock, you can then also make sure that that 12 o'clock is you only looking at the games that started from the time that you get going. Like in other words, if you only start at 12 o'clock, you can filter out all the games that started before 12 o'clock by just on your dates then also do the time filter on top of your days. So I hope that will also help you, but those are the cool things as well. So if I'm looking here on this, you see I've applied, and it says okay, I'm just selecting today for a specific sport, but you can also then choose this to say okay, just give me the ones that's only starting at, say if you've got quite a late starter, then just give me the ones that only started at 4 p.m. and later, and apply that, because that would then just take out all the games that had a start before 4 p.m. so that you know that you have only those games left to watch, only the ones that's coming. So so that's another cool feature as well. So the functionality is quite broad based. You always just need to think logically and use it in the most logical way possible, and that will hopefully keep you going. You'll see the live in play functionality here now. Let me just go back into the iPad Smart app, and the live in play functionality here, as we speak right now, we have all of these games live happening as we speak. Okay, so there's a lot of games happening as we speak right now, and you simply look at your your places where there's when you've got an advantage. This is already in the fourth quarter. China basketball CBA. So we said it's going to be a win for the away team, 99-91. There's the scores just changed. The away team's currently ahead 88-71. So yeah, I think that that chance is gone there. But you'll see the score changing there until it's finished. We're on the fourth quarter, so that's the last quarter here. This game, we're in the third quarter already. So here we're saying home team will win 85-81. It's going to be a close game. Currently, home team's ahead 54-52. So it's also going according to plan, which means we don't have an opportunity. And we keep on going looking for these opportunities. This game here, Kazakhstan Championship Hockey. This is a hockey game. You'll see in the beginning, the away team was much stronger than the home team, but most recently from the 11 month, 10 month, 9, 8, 7, 6 going on, the home team is just getting stronger and stronger. And in fact, in the last 1 month, the RSI, where it was 8, which was the exact same opposition, you'll count 8 little dots here. And in those 8 little dots, the home team did better 8 out of 8 times. That's very important to remember. 100% of the times home team did better in the who did better against the other guy scenario. In the win, draw, loss RSI scenario, you'll see that changes to only 75%. And how do we get 75%? Home was 4, won 3, lost 1. Away played 4 as well, 1, 1, lost 3. So that gives me the 3 home wins and the 3 away losses is 6. 6 out of the 8 games gives me 75%. So the same applies with the away count. Away got 1 year for the home team conceded, and he got 1 year for the away team achieved. So that's the 2 out of the 8. And therefore he got 70. The home got 75%, which is that 75% there, and the away got 25%. And there was no draws because there isn't a draw in this game over this hockey yet. So what that essentially means is the home average was 3.75 to 2, away average was 2.75 to 4.5, gives me a net home advantage of 3.5, which is awesome. But on top of a 3.5 advantage, and you can see it's pretty much where it's going because it's 3-0 at the moment, we also get a 100% chance of home doing better over the exact same opposition in the last month. And now you can start understanding why a 90% return is absolutely beautiful. Because at the beginning of this game, Adelaide Torpedo got 90% return for this match. Now that was an absolute steal. Obviously not going to get 90% now anymore because it's 3-0. But yeah, 90% was an absolute steal in this game. So again, we lost our opportunity here. Yeah, we say the final score was supposed to be 3-2. It's 3-1 at the moment. So everything's still going according to plan. Hence, no opportunity. This game just started. So it's still 0-0, but we're expecting a draw here. Now here's the kind of things that you're looking for. In football, World Club friendly, Energetic versus Ishloch. You can see that Energetic is supposed to win this game. There is risk involved because there's no data in the last 9 months. But prior to that, the 10-month data supplies us with a big advantage, 100% on home team to win. And overall, you can see the worry here is head-to-head is taking a dive. And if I take that head-to-head extension down here, you'll see that that this is the data shows that head-to-head against each other, the away team is gaining a little bit more of a dominance, is what I want to show you here. So what that actually means is when they played here last, away was winning 1-0, and here the difference between these two was quite different, and you can see that difference is getting smaller. The gap is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But in totality, if I just look at the 10-month data or the 11-month data or the 12-month data, you can still see green is better, green is ahead, and therefore I'm expecting green to at least score here. But there is a bit of a question mark in the making. Yeah, we got table tennis. All of these things are available live in play as well on Betfair and all your very best odds platforms. So that's great. Yeah, we're expecting a 3-2. It's 2-1 going according to plan. Yeah, this guy is actually behind, but you can see a lot of red here, so he's probably going to come back and win this game. So there's a nice advantage example for you. This guy's 2-0 ahead, so he's supposed to win 3-2, so not much there. This is another one, 1-2, 2-1, so that's probably going to turn around. Yeah, another example is 1-0, but he's supposed to win, so that's probably going to turn around. So some awesome examples in how to actually use your live in play to your advantage, and it's absolutely incredible how these advantages materializes to such an extent that you can make a lot of money just following your live in play portal. So that's something really, guys, to keep note of. And I think I'm going to stop with that there, because the guys just started blowing the horn behind us here. So I'm going to stop this video here. It's on 1 hour already, but I'll be doing some more of these. I'm going to also do a horse racing one now for today's horse racing. So please do subscribe, and please put your comments down there and tell me what I need to do different and what else you really want to see, because we're still evolving, we're still making a lot of extra things and some awesome, these are big pages of to-do lists, some very nice functionality still coming. So please, yeah. Oh, just one last thing. Forgot to say that 2.59 you see there is this head-to-head RSI end figure, and that minus 1.79 you see there is that head-to-head minus RSI net figure. So it just simply says between head-to-head and RSI ending, it was a home ending, but the overall head-to-head RSI net figure was an away advantage. So just information, just more information for you to make the right decisions. Guys, that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please do subscribe, and please leave your comments so we can give you some more important information and give you the right kind of information for you to make the correct decisions. Stay safe out there.